If you listened to episode 91 on October 14th, I got the scoop from Agent Crew of Wine Spies. Wine Spies is a flash sale site that offers one wine a day at up to 75% off. They've been doing this for over 17 years, and they curate fantastic wines and make them available to us at a fraction of the price. In the episode, you'll hear how they're able to do this, but their proximity to Napa and Sonoma really helps them to get deals that other people will never find. They have an amazing feature called a locker where you can buy 1 or 2 bottles at a time. You save them in your locker, and then when you reach a full case, you can ship it complimentary shipping on your schedule. It makes it super easy and convenient to curate really your own customized case of wine at significantly reduced prices. There's no minimum purchase, there's no subscription, it's not a wine club. Just sign up to start getting their daily email and see what they have to offer. Become an operative with Wine Spies using my special friends and family link in the show notes to this episode, and use the coupon code Nikki, Nikki, for $50 off any order of $200 or more. Go check it out, Wine Spies. I need to get my butt back on the Peloton. Now that I'm back. No wonder my pants were fitting a little tightly. So much delicious food and wine. And I really encourage you to check out each of these spots next time you are visiting. Hello, hello. Welcome to Sip with Nikki. I'm Nikki Lamberti here in Sonoma County, California, and I'm so glad that you're here. It has been a minute since I've done a solo episode. I've been very busy with interviews, which don't worry, those will continue. But as I was prepping to record this today, I was like, wow, it's been a while since I've just done me. You may have noticed we are settling into our new schedule for episode release, which is every other Tuesday. And after doing that for a little bit, I think I'm going to stay with that. It feels good. It feels manageable as I'm busy with all the things, both working for Disney recruitment, making Solovato wine, working at Pride Mountain Vineyards as a wine educator, and of course, creating this content for all of you. So speaking of Disney, you may have heard that I have worked for the Disney company for over 25 years. For about 15 of those years, I was in person in Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida, before moving out here to wine country and working remotely. But I do travel back to Walt Disney World pretty frequently, at least once a year, sometimes more. And I just got back from a much needed trip there with my mom and my sisters, Dana and Amanda. If you're a regular listener, you've heard that we've had a roller coaster of a year, from my own breast cancer diagnosis almost a year ago, followed by 9 months worth of surgery, chemo, radiation, and I'm doing great now. And then in the middle of all of that, my dad was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer and passed away this summer. So we really needed this trip. We needed some time in the Disney bubble, as we call it, just surrounded by joy and quality time together. And when that happens with my family, no surprise, it is loaded with food and wine. So after my last trip to Walt Disney World in the spring, I had done an episode highlighting all of the special bites and drinks that I enjoyed. And that episode had such a great response from all of you that I'm doing it again. I'm going to recap all of my Disney deliciousness in what I like to call an audio food porn episode. And even if you are not a Disney person, even if you have never been to Walt Disney World or are not planning on going, I think this is really fun to listen to as I talk about some of the principles of food and wine pairing and why we love the things that we do. And if you are planning a trip, take some notes, because I definitely want you to check out each of the spots that we enjoyed. And make sure to listen through to the end, where I'll give you a tip on how to land those hard to get coveted Disney reservations, especially in brand new places like Geo82 and Beak and Barrel. If you're not familiar, let me just back up for a minute. Walt Disney World is over 47 square miles. That's twice the size of Manhattan, and has over 400 restaurants. And so when we visit, because I've been blessed to work for the company for many years and spent a lot of time there and have some nice perks when I do visit, we don't do a lot of rides and attractions. We slow down and enjoy the amazing culinary offerings and wine and cocktails and just maybe dip our toe in a park or two. So my disclaimer is I don't work in Disney food and beverage. So this is purely just Nikki as a Disney visitor, the things that I love and I'm so excited to share with all of you. And if you are trying to picture some of these items, make sure that you check out my Instagram. It's at Nikki Lamberti, just first name, last name, Nikki Lamberti. Give me a follow while you're there, and then you can check out my reels and my Disney highlight bubble to put some pictures to the beautiful descriptions that I'm about to give. So if you're curious what a super foodie / winemaker eats and drinks when they visit Walt Disney World, here we go with my November 2025 Disney Deliciousness. This was an extra special trip because my mom and my two sisters and I all met in Walt Disney World. My mom and my older sister, Dana, live in New Jersey. My younger sister, Amanda, lives near LA and Santa Monica. And of course, me in Northern California. So this was rare. In fact, my younger sister had not been to Walt Disney World in over 15 years. So for us to all be there together, I was so excited to show them some of my favorite culinary spots and drink spots, and also discovered a few new ones. And we stayed at both Disney's Riviera Resort as well as the Wilderness Lodge because we are Disney Vacation Club members. So we stay in awesome villas that have kitchens and washer dryers, and it's really, really nice. And no surprise, I checked a full case of wine on the plane. Secret fact, did you know that when you're flying out of any of the wine country / Bay Area airports, so San Francisco, Sacramento, Santa Rosa, Alaska Airlines will let you check a case of wine on the plane for free, regardless of any other luggage that you may have. So that is always a strategic way for me to get a case across the country with complimentary shipping. So I had a mixed case, of course, of Solovato, as well as Pride, and being a glass snob in addition to a wine snob. If you heard my episode where I highlighted the Vin Voyage portable wine glasses, I brought 4 of those with me. So in the villa, before we headed out for the evening, we were doing wine and cheese with beautiful wine and beautiful glassware. But the first night after I picked up my mom at the airport, so I arrived a couple days earlier and had some meetings and a reunion with some friends, and then my mom arrived. So on our first night together, we headed over to Disney's Coronado Springs Resort, which has always been a mid-level or moderate level Disney hotel. But a few years ago, they added the Gran Destino Tower, which is gorgeous. And along with that came the Dahlia Lounge, which is on the top floor, as well as the Three Bridges Bar, which is literally in the center of the lake there. So definitely check out Dahlia Bar at the top of Coronado Springs Tower. You can see almost 270 degrees all the way around Disney and beyond. And we kicked off our vacation with some beautiful sangria. I did the red sangria tinto, that has a base made with Grenache. And then it's got a simple syrup and orange juice. And it was refreshing. It was a warm day, refreshing, but not super sweet. And the jamon croquetas were a fantastic little bite just to kick off our night as we took in the view. Then we headed down to the main level and walked across one of the 3 bridges that connects this awesome restaurant that I find a lot of people don't know about it. And again, you don't have to be staying at these resorts to go check out these restaurants. And 3 Bridges is one of the best kept secrets, I think, on Disney property. They have sangria flights. Our good friends Steve and Jen met us for dinner there, and Mom had a white sangria, and Jen ordered the seasonal sangria, which was, I think it was apple cider and had cinnamon, like very fall tones in this sangria. And we shared a trio of dips, which was their house-made guacamole, their roasted corn dip, and their white queso. And then we nibbled on some patacon, which is crispy tostones with chicken tinga and cojeta cheese and pico de gallo. Just very, very fresh Mexican fare. But they also have a burger and they had some nice fish on the menu. But I drank beautiful Grenache from Spain, garnacha. As you know, I am a Grenache enthusiast, getting ready to release our first ever bottling of Grenache with Solavato in the next couple of weeks. And Grenache is very widely planted in Spain, and it's a very versatile wine, whether you're using it as the base of the sangria or just drinking it as a light red on its own. It's really food friendly, especially with spicy food. So the Ramondo La Montesa Grenache was a great pairing with the dips and the chicken dish. I'll put the link in the show notes because this is a steal wherever you can find this. It's under $20. It has really high ratings, like 94 points from James Suckling. And it's pretty widely distributed, so you could most likely find it in your local bottle shop or Total Wine or something like that. Ramondo La Montesa. Oh my gosh, garnacha. So delicious. The next day, Mom and I got to spend a special evening at Disney's Animal Kingdom. They had what's called Moonlight Magic, which is a private evening party after hours for Disney Vacation Club members. And what was so cool about that is the park is very empty. And so the attractions that they keep open that late, like the Avatar Flight of Passage, have no line. So we literally walked right on that. But we kicked off our evening in Tiffin's. This is another, I feel like, overlooked spot in the Animal Kingdom theme park. It is a beautiful full-service restaurant focusing on the southern hemispheres of cuisine and wine, so Chile and South Africa and Australia. But if you're not there for dinner, just the bar alone, it's called the Nomad Lounge and Cocktail Bar, is so cool. It's one of our favorite spots. It has all kinds of travel memorabilia and people's notes about their travels and pictures of the Disney Animal Kingdom team, like Joe Rohde, who was the head of Disney Imagineering and basically conceptualized and designed the Animal Kingdom park. It's all of their journals and photographs when they were doing research to create the park. So it's just a very cool atmosphere. And Mom and I were sitting there reminiscing about our adventures and travels that we've had, because there are question prompts all around the room, like, what was the most difficult travel adventure you've ever done? And we were remembering our gorilla trek in Uganda and how difficult that was, but how rewarding it was when we finally got to them. And so if you enjoy travel, this is just a really special spot. And they have some draft beers and some nice cocktails. I had a draft Lagunitas IPA, which is funny. It's one of my favorites, and it's made locally here in Sonoma County, and it just hit the spot. But Mom ordered a Sapporo Black, and this was new for me. It was a big can. I'm familiar with Sapporo, but the Sapporo Black is actually a lager, so the color was very light in the glass, but it had very stout, like Guinness malty flavors. It was really interesting, and Mom really likes her dark beer. So that was a fun new beverage, new Sip Spotlight, Sapporo Black. Sip Spotlight. Check it out. I think it's also widely distributed. So because we were staying at Disney's Riviera Resort, we did multiple nights up at the top deck there at Topolino. Topolino is Italian for little mouse or Mickey Mouse. And it is, in my opinion, and if you've listened to my Disney episodes before, you've heard me say it is one of my top picks on all of Walt Disney World property. We started with the Frito Misto, which is a new dish on the menu. Think like tempura veggies, but broccolini, artichoke, asparagus, and mushrooms. Beautiful light batter on these. And then it had a tomato-based romesco sauce, but then it had dollops of this white balsamic gel all around the plate. And anytime you did a tiny little dip in there, it was just like an explosion of acidity and flavor that cut through the richness of the battered vegetables. Frito misto, delicious. I hope they keep it on the menu. And then for our main course, Mom and my sister were both feeling like they needed some iron that evening. So Mom did the filet and Dana did the beef cheeks over polenta, which were gorgeous. I did the chicken sugo rigatoni, which I think this was a repeat dish for me from when I was there in the spring. Beautiful rigatoni pasta made with red wine and brandy braised chicken. It had broccolini, it had pancetta, it had mushrooms, and it had truffle in it. Oh, and it was just rich and comforting and delicious. And of course, the most perfect pairing with that, sollevato sangiovese, which of course we brought with us. Again, little known fact, just like most restaurants across the country, if you are bringing a special bottle of wine in, you can do so and just pay a corkage fee, which we did. Maybe one day sollevato will be on the wine list at Topolino, manifesting that. There were some conversations, so fingers crossed for that. But it was a beautiful pairing with everything. So with the protein dishes that Mom and Dana had, with the really earthy and rich sugo rigatoni that I had with the truffles and mushrooms, and even with that Frito misto. Definitely check out Topolino. You can see Epcot's fireworks that happen every night at 9 o'clock from up there. So if your reservation is before, during, or after that, you can plan it right, grab a drink from the bar. We usually get some sparkling wine and we head out on the patio and watch the fireworks from the rooftop. They pipe the music in and then we sit down and enjoy a gorgeous meal. We will be right back. I had the most healthy and delicious lunch the other day. It was a salmon patty over a bed of spinach, and it was loaded with omega-3 and fatty acids. I was so proud of myself. And this beautiful fish came from Sina Sea. In episode 69, you heard my awesome conversation with Sina Wheeler. She is from a fifth-generation fishing family, and she and her husband, Rich, founded Sina Sea, where he catches wild, sustainably caught fish in Alaska, and then they cut it and package it and ship it beautifully right to your door, and it arrives premium sushi-grade quality with a special recipe card on what to do with it. Well, now that it's summer, that means everything is in season right now, from their specialty sockeye salmon to halibut, cod, crab cakes, which is my mom's favorite. They're a small family-owned business, and they've been kind enough to create a discount code for our listeners. The code is SIPNC, S-I-P and S-E-A, SIPNC, and you can use that at their website, SinaSea.com. Sina Sea is SENASEA.com, and you can get 10% off your order with that coupon code. This can be for a one-time purchase, or also popular is their subscription box that you can create or let them curate for you. Their website is loaded with grilling recipes, which are great for summer, and lots of inspirations of what to do with all of this beautiful fish that they will send right to your doorstep. I encourage you to sign up for their mailing list because they do a monthly drawing for a $50 gift card every month. So check out their delicious fish at SinaSea.com. Healthy fish delivered easy. In episode 78, you heard Liz from American Olive Farmer share her basil, lemon, and garlic olive oils with me. And then in episode 83, Pairing Night with Dr. Hobie, you heard us blow our friends' minds when they tasted them, as well as her balsamic vinegar and olio novello. Well, Liz and her husband Donald operate American Olive Farmer, which is here in California, and they are some of the most delicious olive oils and vinegars I have ever put in my mouth. They are superlative extra virgin olive oils, 100% grown, milled, and bottled here in California. And you can purchase a variety of different oils depending on the time of year. But right now, those 3 flavored oils are hot, and you can buy them in a bundle of all 3 and save. Serve them for dipping alongside your charcuterie board or drizzled over your pizza, which is my favorite thing to do. You can set up a subscription for savings and have all of their beautiful products shipped right to your door. So check out American Olive Farmer, not only for oils and vinegars, but beautiful accessories and gifts. Liz and Donald have been kind enough as our sponsor to create a discount code for listeners. So use the code SIPWithNikki at checkout, capital S, capital W, capital N, Sip with Nikki, and they will give you 10% off your order. Go check it out. You're welcome. And now back to the show. The next day we had a pool day at the Riviera Resort, and a dear friend of mine, Laurie, came over to meet me for lunch, and we headed into Bar Riva, which is essentially like the pool bar there at Riviera, but really surprisingly upscale, beautiful, but reasonably priced menu. And I've had the caprese salad there before. You've heard me talk about that. They had a little twist on it this time. It was a panzanella salad. So it was beautiful heirloom tomatoes, burrata, cucumber, but then it had big chunks of like toasty focaccia bread in there with a red wine vinaigrette. Super fresh and delicious. And then we had, this is probably one of my highlights from the trip, a killer seasonal pizza in there. It had fontina cheese, mozzarella, roasted broccolini, a house-made lemon ricotta, and then an arugula oregano green pesto drizzle across the top. The dough was fantastic. You know I'm a pizza snob. And this was like 10 out of 10, the seasonal pizza. So well done, Bar Riva. Lori and I both tried a delicious cocktail there that was new to me called Il Tramonto. And I've learned that there are different versions of this cocktail around, but this one was specifically Tito's vodka and Aperol, which I'm a big fan of. But then it had Saint Germain elderflower liqueur and some lemonade, and then a little surprise of turmeric in there, as well as pomegranate and orange. So it was very fresh and citrusy, but then the turmeric gave definitely an interesting finish on the back end and also made the drink really have a bright color. I don't drink a ton of cocktails. You guys know I tend to lean towards wine, but in the right setting and the right time of day, I like a great cocktail. And this was one where she and I were both enjoying it. And every time we would both take a sip, we'd be like, wow, that is so good. That is so interesting. So Il Tramonto at Bar Riva, the pool bar at Disney's Riviera Resort. Go check it out. Delicious. So part of why we travel to Walt Disney World at this time of year is it is, of course, the Epcot Food and Wine Festival, which is going on until November 22nd. And it's funny because most of the things that we did on our Epcot day were things that are there all the time. They weren't even special limited food and wine festival things, but we entered the park right in the back entrance, the World Showcase, where you come in right by France and the UK Pavilion. And my very good friend, Jennifer St. Germain, snuck away for the day and met us. And our first stop was actually the kind of hidden champagne bar in the French Pavilion at Epcot. It's called Le Vin de France, and it's right next to the Beauty and the Beast sing-along attraction, and you could miss it. It almost looks like a merchandise shop, but if you go in, they have a beautiful lineup of all traditional French champagnes that you can have by the glass, or you can even buy them by the bottle. And we actually did a champagne flight. They had 2 different flights there, and the pricing was really reasonable for the amount of champagne. We did the $34 champagne flight, which had Moet Imperial Brut and then Tétanger Brut, and then a Veuve Clicquot demi-sec, meaning semi-sweet, right? It had a little bit of sweetness. And it was a gorgeous flight. We bought a bag of French camembert potato chips, which if you guys have heard me talk about food and wine pairing, you know that's one of my favorites. Sparkling wine, either from California or champagne from France, but with potato chips, because something about the saltiness with the cleanness of the bubbles. And then because the Veuve Clicquot demi-sec had a little bit of sweetness to it, they were handing out these little chocolates that were shaped like the Eiffel Tower. And normally, you've heard me say, love wine, love chocolate, don't love them together. But because that third champagne had some sweetness, it's okay to put a little bit of bitter chocolate with it. And they played really nicely together. They also have a deluxe champagne flight there that is $72, and that has Dom Perignon and Renard and Boulanger. So very bougie flight. I was tempted, but I was trying to control the spending. So we were really happy with our $34 flight. And the best part was, they pour all of these beautiful, even though they're plastic, they're beautiful champagne flutes on the counter. And then you have to move from that spot. Now we all had these 3 flutes. We're like, where do we go? So they have off to the side it feels like a little wine cellar with a big long table in the center, just a standing up table. So we hung out there and made some really fun friends. 2 couples from Ohio who were doing the same thing, and they were doing champagne flights. So shout out to Jim and Nancy and Jerry and Karen, our new BFFs from Ohio. We wound up spending over an hour in there just tasting our flights, getting to know them. And then we got some additional single glasses of champagne. So this was the middle of the day. This was our first stop, and we did not get very far, and we left there feeling good. So like I said, it's easy to miss this special champagne bar. So look out for it just to the left of the attraction in France, which is now the Beauty and the Beast sing-along. From there, we were ready for a little more sustenance. So we headed to the UK pavilion for one of our favorites. And you've heard me talk about this before, but we went for it with the fish and chips. The 4 of us split 2 orders. And I still, every time I get it, I'm like, I stand by what I say. This is some of the best fish and chips I've ever had. And it's one of my favorite dishes, so I'll get it when we go out. I've had it in London, and they just do a great job for the volume that they make. They are always super fresh and super hot. We enjoy them with lots of vinegar. And of course, we had to do a half and half, which is a harp and a Guinness, almost like a black and tan. But instead of bass, they have harp on draft. So Mom and I shared that half and half, which is half harp and half Guinness. We love the UK pavilion. In every one of the countries at Epcot, the cast members are from those countries. And so we love chatting with them, and always a great time in the UK pub called Rose and Crown. So from there, we were really excited to check out the brand new Geo 82 lounge, which is on the backside of Spaceship Earth, the big Epcot ball. This was some old event space that they turned into this really lovely lounge. It was hard to get a reservation, but we were able to sneak in there and actually sit down. And we ordered a bottle of Schramsberg Brut Rosé, which we just kept the sparkling theme going. But Schramsberg is from California, from Napa Valley. And if you have been listening all the way since the beginning of the podcast, if you heard Sipping with My Sisters, where we were drinking sparkling wine in my sister's closet, this was the exact wine, the Schramsberg Brut Rosé. It's one of our favorites. And it was a nice price point. It was $98 on the menu at the Geo 82 Lounge. And they had the most beautiful, delicate glassware, which makes my heart happy. And then the windows overlook this new Walt Disney statue and the new sort of center of the park. So it was a really, really cool spot. If you can get a reservation, Geo 82, named after 1982, of course, when Epcot opened. They're also known for their bourbon drinks in there. They have a brown butter, old fashioned, and bourbon flights, which a lot of people were enjoying in there. So just a very cool new addition to Epcot. We did hit one of the food and wine special kiosks, the Bramblewood Bites, which was near the entrance of the World Showcase, kind of in between Future World and the World Showcase on that pathway there, and had a killer pairing from this little kiosk. It was a cider brined pork tenderloin with chili apple butter, and then it had an apple slaw and apple gastrique. Really delicious bite. And a beautiful pairing with some Pinot Noir from the Santa Rita Hills. This was a new winery for me, Goji, Gogi. I guess it's pronounced Goji. I love Pinot Noir from the Santa Rita Hills region of California, but this was a new one for me, and it was a perfect pairing. You hear people talk about pork and Pinot or Pinot and pigs. There's a lot of events and festivals that happen around those two. And the reason it's such a great pairing is when you think of the sort of richness, earthiness, saltiness of pork, especially this pork tenderloin that we had, the brightness of a light red wine like Pinot Noir, especially this California Pinot Noir, they just sat in the pocket together. And it was a beautiful bite. Between the two, it was a really nice portion of the pork. And that pretty much wrapped up our day at Epcot. Again, we didn't get very far because we spent so much time in the champagne bar, but I wouldn't change it. It was fantastic. We rode a couple of attractions. Soarin' is one of our favorites, and Remy's Ratatouille adventure. And then we took the Skyliner back to the Riviera Resort and actually finished the night back up at Topolino, just in the bar, having some apps, roasted oysters, and their house-made ricotta with their fresh baguette. It was a fantastic day. I think if you were to ask my mom and sisters, one of the highlights from the time that we were there all together was over at Disney's Polynesian Resort, the Wailulu Bar and Grill. If you listen to my Disney Deliciousness back in April, it was my first time there, and my good friends David had introduced me to it. So I'm so glad I knew about it, because I thought this would be the perfect spot to take my mom and sisters. At this point in the trip, we had moved over to Disney's Wilderness Lodge Resort, so we took a boat over to the Polynesian, and it's this big open air bar. For those of us who know and love Disney's Aulani Resort on Oahu, we have been referring to the Wailulu Bar as, quote, mini Aulani. And they just added this a couple years ago when they added the brand new Disney Vacation Club Tower at the Polynesian. And it is a fantastic addition to an already awesome resort. It's a big open air bar, and you're looking right at Bay Lake, right across the water at the castle. And if you're there at the right time, which we were, you can actually watch the Magic Kingdom fireworks from the bar or from your dinner table. They don't take reservations, so there's a walk-up list. We just walked up and put our name in. We got a drink from the bar. I had the banana old fashioned, which my friends got last time, and I think I was kind of jealous that I didn't get it last time. I'm not a huge bourbon drinker, a huge old-fashioned drinker, but every once in a while it hits the spot. And this banana old-fashioned just had the right amount of hint of banana, of a little bit of sweetness with the intensity of the bourbon. It was a really delicious start to the meal. I had to repeat one of the dishes that I had got there with the guys back in April. It was the ahi tuna crisps. Marinated ahi tuna over crispy fried wontons with an avocado crema, a sriracha aioli, and a soy glaze. Think nachos over wonton chips, but with beautiful ahi. Oh my gosh. Again, I'm going to say one of the best appetizers on all of Disney property. We also got some grilled shishito peppers, which were delicious. It has a eggplant tahini puree, like a dipping sauce. We love shishitos, my family. We tend to get them whenever we see them on a menu, and we make them at home. In fact, Michael and I will make them in our wood oven, our pizza oven, and just drizzle them with some olive oil and salt and pepper and get a little char in them, and they are delicious. And you never know when you're going to get that hot one. It's like, nope, they're not hot. Nope, they're not hot. And then it's hot. But we love shishito peppers, so really fun to see those on the menu at Wailulu Grill. My family loves garlic, so we had the garlic shrimp, which is literally like garlic 4 ways. There's a black garlic emulsion, there's a garlic lemon butter, there's crispy garlic. It's just very garlicky shrimp, big prawns, really delicious. And then for our entrees, Mom got the kampachi, which is essentially like a yellowtail or amberjack, a Japanese flaky fish, and it's served over jasmine rice with a green curry broth and sweet potato and chickpeas. Beautiful dish. And then we got a side of the chow mein salad, very fresh and crunchy. That is charred cabbage. That also had shishito peppers in it, hearts of palm, pickled sweet potato, and a sunflower butter dressing. We just got those two main dishes, the kampachi and the chow mein salad, and then we shared those, and that was delicious. I was so excited about the Chenin Blanc that we got. I knew it was there because that's what I had last time I was there. So we ordered a bottle, or maybe two, of Protea Chenin Blanc, which is from South Africa. It was fantastic with all of those flavors that I just listed, including the heat of the shishito peppers, the richness of the ahi with the crema and the sriracha aioli. Beautiful with that delicate fish and curry. It really was a chameleon throughout this meal, which is why after the first bottle was gone and the fireworks were about to start, we were like, we'll take a second bottle. Really reasonably priced too. I mean, you can find this Protea Chenin Blanc widely, and it's generally under $20. And I think it was right around $50 on the restaurant menu, which is really reasonable for a restaurant. And then for dessert, it was Magic Kingdom fireworks. Literally did not even have to get up from where we were eating. Just turned to the side and watched it. Again, they piped the music in. And I think that, as well as the surprise ride in the, quote, minivan, the Minnie Mouse wrapped van that is part of the lift offerings on Disney property, I was able to surprise my mom and sisters with that ride back to the hotel. And I think that whole evening was just one of the highlights. So check out the Wailulu Bar and Grill. Again, you can't make a reservation, but there is a walk-up list, or you can just put your name in, and it is a hidden gem on Disney property over at the Polynesian. We will be right back. Hey there, do you want to know how to score a $100 Napa cab for $25? Now that I've got your attention, if you listened to episode 91 on October 14th, you heard my hysterical interview with Agent Crew from Wine Spies. Wine Spies is a flash sale site that helps you get your hands on incredible wines at unreal prices. Whether it's Zinfandel, Barolo, Champagne, Napa Cab, you name it. And they can be up to 75% off. It's not a club. There's no obligation to buy. You just sign up for their daily email, take a look at what they're offering. And then my favorite part is their locker option, where you can build a case of wine over time, one order at a time. And then once you've accumulated a case, you have complimentary shipping. And you can mix and match wines and enjoy free shipping on every purchase. I've got a special friends and family link in the show notes to this episode. Make sure you click on that, and then be sure to use the discount code Nikki, Nikki, to get $50 off any order of $200 or more. You're welcome. Go check it out. Winespies.com. And now back to the show. And then finally, I was able to get into another brand new, highly anticipated spot. And this is the Beak and Barrel in the Magic Kingdom. Now, let me tell you, if you're not a big Disney person, you may not know this, but up until very recently, there was never any alcohol served in the Magic Kingdom park. Epcot, Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, yes. But the Magic Kingdom, just kind of out of tradition, back to when it opened, there was never any alcohol. And then a few years ago, when they added the Be Our Guest restaurant, which is the Beauty and the Beast theme restaurant inside of the Beast Castle in Fantasyland, that is a full sit-down restaurant, and they actually added some alcohol that you could have while you're at dinner there. But there's never been just a bar that you could go into. So this is kind of a big deal, and it's attached to the Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know how they found the space to do it. Also hard to get into, but if you can check it out, Beak and Barrel. Very fun theming inside, very heavily pirate themed. And if you're familiar with the Trader Sam's bar, both at Disneyland or the Polynesian at Disney World, there's some similarity just into some of the fun theming things that they do inside. I guess I'm enjoying bourbon more now than ever. I probably have Michael and producer Katie to thank for that because they're always drinking it. I'm always like, give me a little taste. I'm like, I like that. So I actually wound up doing a bourbon cocktail in the Beak and Barrel restaurant. In the Beak and Barrel, it was called Barrels Ablaze, and it was Jack Daniel's bourbon, honey, lemon, and chili. So it was a little bit of a spice to the drink, which I love. Mom had a draft beer, and then we ordered just a lovely little bite called Cook's Corn Griddle Cake, which was like a warm corn cake with chipotle braised chicken, cojeta cheese, cilantro. Nice little bite. And had a fun time checking out a brand new spot that recently opened. So check out Beak and Barrel. And it was kind of a new experience, like coming out of this dark bar after having a cocktail and then being back into the magical sunshine of the Magic Kingdom. It's like, oh, this is kind of a new experience. But on the way out, we had to hit one of my favorite snack spots at the entrance of Adventureland, and that is the spring roll kiosk. They have both pepperoni pizza and cheeseburger spring rolls. Again, I feel like this is often missed, but it's right as you go over the bridge into Adventureland. And we had the cheeseburger spring rolls, which had almost like a Thousand Island kind of smash burger dipping sauce. Oh my gosh, so delicious. You know me, I'm all about the savory treats, clearly. And now as I sit here recapping all of this, I'm like, oh, I need to get my butt back on the Peloton. Not that I'm back. No wonder my pants were fitting a little tightly. So much delicious food and wine. And I really encourage you to check out each of these spots next time you are visiting. It was such an amazing trip. A, because of family and friends that I got to spend time with, but B, because of all of this Disney deliciousness. I literally did not want to leave the magical Disney bubble. I was there for 9 days and I wasn't ready to leave. And there were so many more things to eat and drink. So I'll just have to go back. Hey, as promised, if you're curious how I get some of these hard to get reservations, a friend of mine told me about a website, mousedining.com. It's a third-party site not affiliated with Disney, but you can set up a search for Disney reservations, and then they'll send you an alert when your match comes, and then you finish the process and make the reservation. But mousedining.com is how I was able to get the 2 brand new locations, Geo 82 in Epcot and Beak and Barrel in the Magic Kingdom. Check out the show notes of this episode for links to some of the things that I tried, and I'll try to put a nice list in there so that you don't have to try to remember everything. And again, visit my Instagram, Nikki Lamberti, to see some pictures, videos, and reels of some of the things that I talked about today. And until our own wine, Solavato, is one day in Disney restaurants, manifesting, you can get your hands on it through our website, solovatowines.com. That's Sollevato. Solavato is Italian for joyful, uplifted, relieved, and no longer worried. And let me tell you, that's how my family and I felt after the amazing experience that we had on this most recent trip to Walt Disney World. We have beautiful Sangiovese available, and coming soon is my first ever bottling of Grenache that will be releasing with a special pink label for breast cancer to commemorate my breast cancer journey, and proceeds from each bottle will go to the V Foundation for Cancer Research. Be sure to use the discount code PODLISTENER for 10% off your order, and I can ship Solavato to most states in the U.S. If you enjoyed hearing about the Disney bites and drinks, check out some of my other Disney-related episodes, like number 89, which was a much-needed dose of joy at Disneyland with Dr. Hobie. You can go back to episode 71 this past April at Walt Disney World. Earlier this year on March 3rd, We did the Chef's Counter experience at the Napa Rose restaurant at the Disneyland Hotel. And back in May of 2024, there are 2 episodes of Sipping Around the World at Epcot. You can hear Michael and I with many more drinks and bites. Whatever you do between now and our next time together, I hope that you sip well.